Alright folks, Pitching Ace Idiot, we are back playing Criminal Case on Facebook. Let's head on to the next case. This is going to be case 10. It's going to be the last case of the 1960s. Crime and Punishment. Being stranded in the 60s has been a roller coaster ride, Ace. A murder at Woodstock, a moon landing which nearly didn't happen, a Hollywood starlet shot dead in Las Vegas. Never mind peace and love. All we've seen is murder and mayhem. Yeah, but we wouldn't even be stuck here if not for that mysterious time traveler who sabotaged our time machine. But even more concerning is what might be happening in 2029, Ace. The message we left for Chief Scott asking him to send help was unanswered. Either the Chief never received the SOS, or he can't send help. Either way, something's wrong. Our only hope of getting home is to find the Leonardo da Vinci's treatise, which contains a mathematical formula on which time travel is based. A task that would be a lot easier if the treatise wasn't in the hands of the Soviet ambassador Lev Romanov. Tensions between the US and the Soviet Union are running high, Ace. If we get caught snooping around the Soviet embassy, there's no telling what'll happen. Which is why we enlisted the help of Nicoletta Marconi to break into the embassy and retrieve the treatise. I don't like making alliances with criminals, Ace, but given the circumstances, we have no choice. Well, we've been in Washington, D.C. for 3 days while Marconi prepares for the heist, but it's time to rendezvous outside the embassy, so let's put on our uniforms, Ace. Nice. It's about time, Officer Ace. I was worried you weren't going to show. Funny you say that, Miss Marconi. I was thinking the same thing about you. Anyways, right, this is what we're going to do. I'll break in ahead of you and disable the security system. Once those lights go off, you can follow me inside. I hate this waiting, Ace. What's happening in there? There go the lights. Marconi disarmed the security system. Alright, Ace, let's go, but be careful. Well, I don't understand, Ace. The security system's disabled, so where's Marconi? Ace, what's... Halt. Murderers. Put your hands up. Murderers? We're police officers. You are American police? How did you get here so fast? We were passing by and saw the lights go out, so we came over to investigate. Your meddling instincts are correct. Ambassador Romanov has been killed right here in the Soviet embassy. We don't have manpower to investigate murders, so you Americans can do it, but we'll be watching. Phew, that was close, Ace. I thought we were done for. But apparently Ambassador Romanov is dead, as if things weren't bad enough. We better investigate the crime scene as soon as we turn the lights back on. Now, if he's dead, does that mean that he had Marina? Or is she going to disappear? Interesting. I'm super excited for this case too. Yeah, what does happen to Marina? I guess nobody but me is thinking about Marina at this point. Well, Lev Romanov is dead, alright, Ace. It looks like he's been strangled. And there's still no sign of Marconi. Could she have killed the ambassador? Only the clues will tell, like that pin you've picked up. Looks like it was torn from the victim's jacket during the struggle. Clicking a sample of that liquid on the pin might give us a lead on the assassin. And I agree, it's weird to find a wrapped gift out here addressed to the victim. He must have been carrying it. But there's a locked wooden box inside. Let's open that up. I'll inform Amy of the ambassador's murder. Our search for Da Vinci's treatise will have to wait. Yeah, it will. Holy moly. Anyways, guys, I'm going to grab a whole bunch of stars. I'll see you guys back here. I'm Pitching Ace 88. Au revoir. Chapter 1. Alright, on your mark, that's it. Alright, folks, Pitching Ace 88, we are back. Let's finish off Chapter 1. We did that pretty quickly. We got to talking about old school classic rock and stuff, and that passed the time for me. Ooh, what the heck? Oh, it's 9. That kind of scared me. I was like, whoa. It was way off. That first part. Ooh. There's a Russian doll inside that wooden box, Ace, and it's custom made. Looks like the Ambassador Romanov. So there must be more dolls inside. Oh, there's only one other doll on your right. It looks like Marina. But Marina wasn't born in 1969. Nobody from this timeline could have made a doll that looked like her. Unless she gave this doll to her grandfather. Did Marina disobey Amy's orders and went to see him? I agree, Ace. We should ask Marina what's going on. Oh, snap. Well, Marina's here, so that's a positive. Great, Ace. Let's get the sample we clicked from off the victim's pin to Theo. I wonder who else are going to be the suspects. I mean, because you kind of guessed that Marina would be one. You kind of guessed that, what was her name? How terrible, Ace. My grandfather's been murdered. It's strange to mourn someone who was already dead when I was a child. Well, yeah, that must feel weird. However, there's something we hope you can explain. We found the Russian dolls you gave him. Did you disobey Amy's direct orders? Yes, I did meet with my grandfather and gave him that gift, but I swear I didn't tell him who I was. I shouldn't have broken protocol, but I had to take the chance to meet him. I never knew him as a child. And you know about my strained relationship with my mother, Jack. I just wanted to see whether I'd feel any connection with my grandfather. So you gave him these Russian dolls? Thank goodness he didn't open them. Even though you never knew him, is there anything you can tell us about your grandfather? Is this how he died in our timeline? I don't really know. My mother never really spoke about him or my grandmother, Ekaterina. She accompanied my grandfather on his foreign postings. Oh, so you're saying the victim's wife, your grandmother, should be at the embassy. We should speak with her then. Wish I could join you, Ace, but I promise I won't interfere anymore with my family. Wait, is Marina not a suspect? Maybe she is. Miss Romanova, Officer Ace has a question about your late husband. Oh, the Americans and their questions. Lev, what a mess you've left me with. Okay, can you think of anyone who might have wanted to harm your husband? My husband was an influential man with powerful enemies, and the man had wandering eyes. Oh, so you were aware of your husband's extramarital relationships. Of course I knew about Lev's women. Hope you're not suggesting I killed him because of those tramps. I didn't care about that. We were in love once, but our marriage had become nothing but show. My husband only wanted me around for cameras. I only stayed for my daughter, Natasha. Oh, yes. Now, please excuse me. I have to play the grieving widow. Ooh. Yeah, she didn't really seem particularly moved by her husband's murder. In any case, where to now, Ace? I've got a lead for you, Ace. I detect energy signatures coming from under the ambassador's front lawn. Energy signatures? Yeah, there must be some sort of structure underground. Well, if that's the case, Ace, we gotta check this underground structure. Little Natasha. Marina is a suspect, yep. Crazy. Whoa. It's a revolver, a brass knuckles, and a knife. Thing is like the trifecta. Well, this fallout shelter might come in handy, Ace. If the Soviets find out we broke into the embassy on the night the ambassador was murdered, they'll be hell to pay. And yikes, careful of that weapon. It's a gun, a knife, and brass knuckles all in one. We better find out who this weapon belongs to. That engraving might hold the answer. And sure, let's search through those emergency supplies. definitely a fan of Game of Thrones, so I'll check that out. And man, you have so many people that are I mean, I won't give any spoilers, but there's some people that are like, you know, outraged with this season. Some people that are not outraged with this season, and some people that are like, you know, in the middle. There's a headlamp buried in those supplies, Ace. Wait, Nicoletta Marconi was wearing this lamp when she broke in, which means she must be down here. Come out, Marconi. We know you're hiding. Oh, thank goodness it's you, Officer Ace. These Soviets are everywhere. Somebody's been killed. Come down, Miss Marconi. Just tell us how you ended up down here. No, what happened with WhatsApp? They're spying on everybody? I mean, that's what I always guessed. Yeah, Nevada was a good partner. Alright, so what's this name? Nope. Who's that? I don't know. The name engraved on the weapon is Zavrazin. I wonder who that is. Second Ace. On second thought, Ace, a weapon like this could be used by the Ambassador Security Detail. I bet Zavrazin is one of them. Let's go find the victim's bodyguard. Alright, Marconi, what happened? You hopped over the embassy wall and left us high and dry. Well, as soon as I got onto the property, I shut down the security system as planned. Then I literally stumbled upon a body in the driveway. If anyone caught me sneaking around, they'd think I'd done it, so I headed for cover. That's when I saw the hatch to this bunker, so I jumped down here to hide. And how are we to know that you didn't murder the ambassador for catching you in the embassy? Well, that's ridiculous. I may be a thief, but I'm not a murderer. That remains to be seen. For now, it's best that you stay down here out of sight. Yeah, I've never used WhatsApp. Officer Ace, you're investigating the boss's murder. Have you caught the scoundrel? We will, don't you worry. I'd like to know where you were when Mr. Romanoff was murdered, because you certainly weren't guarding him. Shh. Keep your voices down. You want to get me killed? It's a total disaster. I was out back smoking a cigarette when this all happened. When I came out, the front lights were off and the boss was dead. You didn't see anyone around? No, nobody at all. This is bad. The ambassador dying on my watch? I'll be lucky if I don't get fed to the dogs. I mean, I kind of agree. Yeah, we just can't get a break, Ace. We came to the embassy to find Da Vinci's treatise, but now the ambassador's on my slab. And he isn't the first person with the treatise to end up dead. Perhaps it's cursed. That's ridiculous, Janice. There's no such thing as curses. Tell that to the man I chased years ago to the Dark Ages who ended up with a shrunken head. I see some crazy things on this job. Anyway, let's talk about this murder. The victim was strangled, and the wounds around his neck indicate the murder weapon was a thin metal wire. The weird thing is I found a crumpled piece of paper shoved in the victim's mouth, and the killer must have put it there. A piece of paper? It's a page the killer tore out of a book, Crime and Punishment to be exact. There's a passage highlighted. The last moment had come. The last drops had to be drained. So the killers read Crime and Punishment. You can bet your bottom ruble that they'll be punished for this crime. Interesting. Hey, Ace, have you seen Zara around? I want to show her my latest experiment. I'm cultivating flowers in the hydroponics bay. Last I heard, she was down in the engine room with Kai. Oh, right. She's down there a lot these days. Wait a minute, what am I, chopped liver? Come see you all the time. Anyway, what's the word on that liquid Ace found in the victim's pin? Well, the results are in the substances glycerin, methanol, and sodium saccharine, the major constituents of a breath spray. Breath spray? I use it all the time. Last thing we need cooped up in this time machine is bad breath. But apparently the killer's worried about bad breath too, because they left some behind when they tore away the victim's pin. Oral hygiene will be the least of the killer's worries once they're behind bars. It's true. Hey, Ace, our heist to the Soviet embassy did not go as planned. Yes, we know. We were here. So, what I did was extremely dangerous. We know, but I've just realized something. My grandfather said that might help us solve the murder. Gotcha. Well, I'll see you guys in chapter 2 in Pacini's Idiot. So, alright, let's start chapter 2. Under mark set. Alright, folks, Pacini's Idiot, we are back. Let's head on to chapter number 2, where Marina remembered something that her grandfather said. He addressed the U.S. Congress earlier this week. He said it was an honor to speak at such an esteemed venue here in Washington. U.S. Congress. If we're going to investigate there, we'll need to be careful not to disrupt the inner workings of American politics. The stakes right now are too high. But this is a lead we can't ignore, Ace. I'll arrange clearance for you to gain access to Congress. Just tread carefully. Yeah. I think it'd be great to have a woman as a president. I just knew I did not want Hillary. Because just getting into it too much, but she just seemed like she lied all the time, and I didn't want that to be like the first, female president. Like, for instance, I thought Obama was actually pretty good. I disagree with him on some things, but for the most part, I thought he was really good, and he did a good job. So, bridge. What the heck is a bridge? Oh, must be the. Well, I know everyone's eager to get home, Ace, but sometimes this job is quite a ride. Who would imagine we'd be standing in the U.S. Congress in the 60s? And Marina was right. The victim was here. That briefcase has his initials on it. It's pretty careless for the ambassador to leave his unlocked briefcase lying around. But who knows what state secrets are in there? All the more reason to search through it. You think that torn newspaper is an important clue, Ace? I'll grab the tape. Yeah, Obama had the speech right. Like, he had the demeanor. And that's what I like, and that's why the woman that I mentioned previously, when she was on the Joe Rogan podcast, when I was listening to her, I was like, that's someone who seems like they have a clear head. Even if I disagree with them on certain points, they seem like they have a clear head, and that's all you can ask for. For a second, the paper in the victim's briefcase was written in some ancient language, Ace, but it's Morse code. Recognize a pattern of dots and dashes anywhere. Could this be a secret message, Ace? Sensitive information that got the ambassador killed? Only one way to find out. Let's have Penelope translate this code. Oops. Nope, skip. Come on. I did not want that. I wanted this part. I know the prospect of nuclear war should frighten me, Ace, but I've always found the Cold War romantic. Romantic? Yes, Soviets living on U.S. soil, U.S. spies deep undercover in Moscow. It's a perfect incubator for forbidden love. I never really had a boyfriend. I can just picture some handsome Russian operative sending me secret love notes in Morse code. Can't say that I ever thought about it, Penelope, but speaking of Morse code, did you figure out what the message says? I did, and it's definitely not a love note. The message reads, meet me on the driveway at 8 p.m. Romanov, your future depends on it. Did you hear that, Ace? The ambassador was murdered on the driveway at approximately 8 p.m., which means this coded message was sent by our killer. The ambassador's assassin might be proficient with Morse code, but our message will be loud and clear when we put them behind bars. Meanwhile, let's continue our search elsewhere at the embassy and head back to the fallout shelter. Again, I did Trump. I thought had some good points. I like that he shook everything up, and it will depend on who runs against him. If you give me Hillary again, or I haven't really looked at any of the other candidates yet. So if they ask me to vote, I'll look at them. But my main thing is with the candidates, I like to actually watch them in interviews and see how they handle themselves. Because some people just come off as jerks. I remember John Kerry always gave me that rub. Like, he just seemed like he was just not a nice dude. Good call with that newspaper, Ace. There's a photo of the victim on the front page. The headline reads, Cold War Diplomacy. The ambassador is shaking hands with this man, with the caption explaining who he is has been torn away. Take this newspaper back to the time machine. Compare this photo to the local police database. Maybe we'll find a match. Those babushka dolls, man. There's something there. Yeah, it's summertime for a lot of people. What are y'all doing for vacation? I know we're going back east, but I think we're going to leave the boys with my parents because we're only going to go back for a couple of days for a wedding. But aside from that, I don't think we have much. Strange device. That's got to be a strange device. I get, but it means strange device. It's a Morse code device. I mean, I know that. Look, Ace, that's an old-fashioned polygraph machine. Oh, they were used during interrogations to determine whether someone was telling the truth. And wait a minute, my Siluk isn't as good as Marina's, but I know enough to see that this polygraph test was conducted on the victim, Lev Romanov. Let's that faded polygraph test to see whether it's relevant to our case. And you're right, Ace, that button must be what triggered the security alarm earlier. Which means whoever pushed that button either discovered the victim's body or even saw a murder take place. A sample of those pink fragments could identify a potential eyewitness. Interesting. Who is this guy? Graham Winslow. Russian database has return match on that photo. This guy's a U.S. congressman named Graham Winslow. Mr. Winslow was acquainted with the victim, and we should ask him some questions. Alright, so what do we got here? But don't we need to know the questions, not just whether or not he lied? Darn it, Ace, there's nothing on this victim's polygraph test besides a bunch of wavy lines. Normally Marina would analyze his polygraph report, but under this circumstance, I think Orlando should do it. Let's have him examine this machine. Look at those pink fragments you collect off that alarm button under the microscope, Ace. What about these fragments behind while pushing the button could be an eyewitness? Yeah, you said that before. What's up, Congressman? Why, hello, officers. What can I do for you on this fine evening? Just give me a moment to freshen my breath. Congressman Winslow, Officer Ace is investigating the murder of Lev Romanov. Wait, Ambassador Romanov is dead? My word, that's terrible news. I understand you meant the ambassador. Are you able to divulge what you spoke about? Of course, those diplomatic meetings were a matter of public record. Romanov wanted my advice on the Soviet Union's upcoming trade negotiations with Egypt. Naturally, I obliged. I hoped receiving the Soviet ambassador would be seen as a gesture of goodwill to help ease tensions between our two nations. Romanov's murder is the last thing I would want. This is a diplomatic nightmare of colossal proportions. Yikes, that's true. Unless it was the Soviets that did it. Which could be. Those pink fragments are small particles of shrimp ace from a shrimp cocktail. And you're right, Nicolette Marconi's been raving about shrimp cocktails ever since we were in Las Vegas, so she sounded the alarm. But why would Marconi deliberately trigger the alarm? She was supposed to be helping us find Da Vinci's treatise. Quietly. Let's Marconi and find out. I mean, it makes sense. Maybe she got spooked. Hey, we thought we had a deal, Marconi. You help us break into the embassy to steal the Da Vinci's trees, and we'd forget about your prior infractions. But it turns out you stabbed us in the back. You triggered the security alarm that ended the heist, setting the Soviet sights squarely on us. Because you betrayed me first. What are you talking about? As soon as I came across the body, I knew it was all set up. It's obvious you wanted me to take the fall for that murder. All that nonsense about Da Vinci's trees, it was merely a trap. Well, your ploy didn't work. You won't get away with this. Oh, brother, nobody was setting you up, and your alarm stunt hasn't achieved anything. You're stuck hiding out in the embassy's fallout shelter. You could get caught at any moment. I'll find a way out. Don't you worry. You have to get up pretty early in the morning to outsmart Marconi, and I can put that in Morse code if you don't understand just plain English. I don't think she would have killed him. I don't think she would have. Although I'm a historian, Ace, I do marvel at the wonders of technology, even something as antiquated as this polygraph machine. Antiquated? A device that can tell whether someone is lying is like magic. It's no magic. A polygraph measures a person's breathing, pulse, blood pressure, and perspiration to determine whether you're telling the truth. Here, let me hook it up and show you. When we were in Las Vegas, I believe I saw you enjoying a cocktail or two. Isn't that right? Oh no, I consume no alcoholic beverages. Now that, my dear, was a lie. But never mind. What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. Here's something less controversial. Who do you love most in the world? Well, that's easy. My father. And that was a 100% truthful answer. You should ask her if she has feelings for Jack. We appreciate the demonstration, but what about Romanov's polygraph test? Well, it appears the ambassador was interrogated about his loyalty to the Kremlin. He was questioned about his diplomatic and political connections with American citizens. The Soviets needn't have worried. They can pass his test with flying colors. But you'll be interested to know Roman's polygraph test was administered by his bodyguard, Zavrazin. Zavrazin? Why would a bodyguard be authorized to conduct a polygraph test on behalf of the Kremlin? The time we conducted our own investigation, so let's go grill Zavrazin. We've been holding out on Zavrazin. How does a mere bodyguard have the authority to conduct a polygraph test on a Soviet ambassador? Oh, very shrewd, Officer Ace. I suppose there's no point hiding now. I wasn't just guarding the boss. I'm a Kremlin operative. Here to, how do you say, keep him in line? Oh, so you're some KGB agent assigned to ensure his continued loyalty. Well, it's standard Soviet protocol for a man in Romanov's position. Sometimes people get too comfortable with American lifestyle. Hamburgers, gambling, movie stars in Vegas. Kremlin has no tolerance for Yankee Doodle nonsense, so I conducted a polygraph test to confirm his loyalty was still toward the Soviet Union. I transmitted the test results to the motherland in Morse code, and his allegiance was verified. And so you're sure strangling your boss wasn't part of your duty to keep him in line? Oh, you have a theories, Officer Ace. As Dostoevsky says in Crime and Punishment, 100 suspicions don't make a proof. Until you have evidence of crime, leave me alone. Ace, breaking the Soviet embassy to steal Da Vinci trees was risky enough, but now we have a murder on our hands. According to Congressman Winslow, the ambassador's been working to strengthen ties with the Americans. Perhaps it was this diplomatic alliance that made Zavrazin, the KGB agent, question the victim's loyalty. But Nicoletta Marconi, who thought we tried to set her up for the murder, only turned the tables on us. Oh my gosh. Oh great. What's wrong? News of the ambassador's murder has gotten out. It's all over the TV news. Oh, great. Great. Now I gotta do damage control. Anyways, I'll see you guys in chapter 3. Pitching Against Idiot. Over and out. Alright, folks, Pitching Against Idiot. We're back. Let's head on to chapter number 3, where... Yep. Sorry, Ace, let me translate. The Soviets blame the Americans for the ambassador's murder, saying they've been betrayed by the West. And in other broadcasts, the Soviets are threatening military action. Yep, the Cold War standoff was already tense, Ace. Now that the news of the murder is out, things should really start heating up. If there wasn't enough pressure to solve this case. I agree, Ace. The U.S. Congress is where the ambassador tried to keep the peace. Let's see if we can find something to defuse this crisis. This is hilarious. Okie dokie. So that's gotta be something. Torn paper, obviously. Glue. Video camera. Glue. And ticket. Thing that says ticket. Well, that film recorder you found belongs to the victim, Ace. Let's unlock this camera in the time machine and see what was filmed. And look here, there's a blackmail letter. I know about your acid trips. I own you. Someone was being blackmailed for illicit drug use, but who sent this letter? Let's listen for the fingerprints and find out. I agree, Ace. Let's tape that torn paper back together. World War III might be a heartbeat away, but we can still prevent it by finding the ambassador's killer. Ecartina. This is a plane ticket, Ace, and it belongs to the victim's wife, Ekaterina. Apparently, Ekaterina and her daughter had booked a one-way flight to Moscow before her husband was killed. Why was she leaving the country? Did she know something was about to happen? Mrs. Romanova needs to explain all of this. I agree. Something fishy. Could also have been that she's just tired of playing nice. Nope, that's not it. It's gotta be this. Run this film from the victim's camera to the projector, Ace. Whatever's on here might help solve this murder. I'm flattered a journalist is interested to speak with me. Please ask your questions. Well, tell me your thoughts on the recent moon landing. It looks like the Americans beat you to it. Oh, bah. The moon is just a big hunk of rock. The galaxy's full of planets. Papa, look, my shirt pottery. Can't you see your father is busy, Natasha? I've warned you never to interrupt my work. Well, you shouldn't treat your daughter so harshly, Ambassador. She wasn't disturbing anything. Who are you to give me advice on how I should raise my child? This interview is over now. Get out. Oh boy, Marina told us she met with her grandfather, but she says nothing about any argument. This looks bad, Ace. We need to have another talk with Marina. There are fingerprints all over this blackmail message, Ace, but they're a little smudged. If Kai can salvage some of these prints, maybe we'll find a match. If this letter is connected to the ambassador's murder, we need to find and know about it. I agree. You just caught me packing my bags, officer Ace. This breast spray I bought from Zareen is the last thing, then I'm leaving. We knew you were trying to leave even before your husband was killed. What are you running away from? Well, it's not what you think. I begged my husband for months for us to all go back to the Soviet Union. I've had enough of America. I want to go home. I miss the food, the music. Even the bleak frozen winters are better than staying here. But Lev wouldn't listen. He said he was important here. Like is written in Crime and Punishment, the fear of appearance is the first symptoms of impotence. My husband never did anything unless it boosted his reputation. So I sent a message in Morse code to my parents telling them that my daughter and I were coming home. But Lev tore up the ticket saying we'd be leaving over his dead body. Huh. Which is exactly what you're trying to do. If officer discovers you killed your husband, it'll be a long time before you get home. Honestly, that's going to probably save the Cold War as if it ends up being his wife. Things seem to be going from bad to worse, Marina. First we learned you secretly spoke to your grandfather, and then it turns out you argued. Wait a minute, how did you know about that? But you're right, we did fight. I freshened up with some breath spray and makeup, pretending to be a journalist. At one point, my grandfather's daughter walked in, my mother, who was only a child in this time period, and my grandfather flew off the handle. I recognized his tone instantly. It was the same kind of verbal abuse my mother would hurl at me. I just snapped. I wanted Romanov to stop mistreating his daughter the way she would one day mistreat me. It's always been the same with my family. As Dostoevsky says in Crime and Punishment, when reason fails, the devil helps. Let's just hope your reason didn't fail, Marina. Yeah, I think her mom was just like, verbally abusive to her and just didn't really pay that much attention to her. Glad you sent me these funeral crusades. Anything to distract me from our malfunction time machine. I'm so restless, I just want to get going. We'll have Da Vinci's treaty soon enough, Kai, but right now we need your report on those prints. Right, I found 2 sets of prints. One belonged to your victim, the other belonged to the congressman, Graham Winslow. So the victim and the congressman were involved in some sort of drug scandal. But who's doing the blackmailing? Well, the pattern of the prints can tell us that. The congressman's prints are only around the edges of the paper, meaning he held it in his hands. But the victim's fingerprints are all over the cutout letters themselves, even on the back, which means it was Ambassador Romanov who glued them to the message. Oh, so Winslow is being blackmailed by the ambassador. Let's ask the congressman what was going on. Snap. Officer Ace, I'm just reading one of my favorite books, Crime and Punishment. To find some common ground with the Soviets, we're certainly in a pickle right now. Well, you're the one in the pickle, Congressman. We know the ambassador was blackmailing you because of your drug habit. Wait a minute, how do you know about that? Alright, well I guess there's no point in lying to you now. Romanov found out about my recreational activities. He demanded I lift U.S. trade sanctions against the Soviet Union or he'd go to the press. I don't have the authority to do that. What do you expect me to do, send a Morse code message to the president? I was in a mighty bind. I couldn't let the truth get out. Turns out you murdered the ambassador to preserve your reputation. Officer Ace will find out. I know you're under a tremendous amount of pressure, Ace, but the stakes just got higher. The Soviets are preparing for war. The Kremlin just issued a warning. If Romanov's killers are brought to justice within the next 2 hours, they'll order a nuclear strike. Oh my goodness, we're running out of time. We still know who murdered Romanov. Was the victim's wife desperate to flee? Blah, blah, yeah, blah, blah, blah. We gotta start this. Let's go back to the crime scene. Agreed. Sit floor. Crime and Punishment. The trash can wasn't a clue. Hold the press. Nice, we're 55 viewers. Welcome everybody, especially on Twitch. So I know YouTube's having, their own issues with the streaming and stuff. Please tell me you found some clues, Ace. If we don't catch the ambassador killer soon, we'll all be obliterated. Our time machine won't protect us from a nuclear strike. Wait, you think the copy of Crime and Punishment belongs to the killer? Of course. The page we found in the victim's mouth is torn out. A sample of that creamy substance smudged inside the book might help us identify the killer. And I'll let you search that through that rosebush, Ace. Careful of those thorns. Interesting. I mean, we didn't get the trash can, but we probably learned a lot from it. Oh my gosh. Yeah, let's rush that creamy substance you collect off the killer's book to the lab, Ace. The sooner we bring the killer to justice, the sooner we can prevent World War III. Yes, that definitely seems like something that we want to prevent. And I'm sure the wire is going to be in the rose bush. We don't really have the murder weapon. Ooh, a watch. Oh. There's a bloodstained watch in that rose bush. Ace, that's strange. The victim is still wearing his watch. Oh wait, this is a Garrodi watch. By pulling this wire out, the watch becomes a deadly weapon. The killer must use this to strangle the victim. Let's have Janice compare this watch to the victim's wounds. Oh snap. That's gruesome. That's actually a really cool, creative murder weapon. I like that one. Shoot, 15 hours. There's no way to stop it, but we finish it. I know we're running down to the wire, so I'll keep this brief. And speaking of wires, there's no doubt this Garrodi watch is the murder weapon. The blood and the skin cells on the cord match the victim. The ambassador's neck wounds are consistent with a sharp wire. That's pretty sneaky, Ace. The killer would have simply stepped behind the victim, extended the cord, and choked him out. Sneaky maybe, but not foolproof. I collected a sample of skin cells from the watchman that would have come from the killer's wrist. Couldn't get a complete DNA profile, but the cell degradation indicates that the killer is more than 40 years old. Interesting. I don't even know who that rules out. Oh, it rules out his wife. And I think Marina. I think it rules out the females. My analysis of that sample you collected from the killer's book. We're ready in a second, Ace. Astro is double checking the results. Alright, just as I conclude, the substance contains paraffin, hexylene, glycol, and a range of other chemicals. Simply put, it's a skin cream specifically used to treat facial moles. It is Richard Nixon, guys. You guys... I don't know who guessed that, but I can definitely think. Well, that's not good. Yep. That's not good. Not good for the US to be doing this to this guy. That's not good. Not good at all. Congressman Winslow, after all your talk about the ambassador's murder being a diplomatic crisis, turns out you're the cause of it all. Well, aren't we in a tizzy? Why would you ever dream of such a thing? I'm no murderer. We know it was you. Romanov's knowledge of your drug use threatened your career and your reputation, so you silenced him. You best have proof of these wild accusations. Officer Ace, remember who you're talking to. We've got evidence, alright. You sent the ambassador a coded message to meet him on the embassy driveway. And once he arrived, you snuck up behind him and strangled him with your Garrodi watch before stuffing his mouth with a page from your favorite book. Admit it, Winslow, we have you over a barrel. Alright, fine, I murdered that miserable Rusky. He has some nerve daring to live on American soil. It's a national disgrace. There can be no peace with the Soviets. Wait, you're saying you want a conflict with the Soviet Union? Does a one-legged duck swim in a circle? Of course I want an armed conflict. We can't just sit back in this stalemate. This is so-called Cold War could last decades. The Soviets with their space race and the nuclear arms, we must take them out now. And I knew just how to do it. I knew killing Romanov would give the Soviets an excuse to launch an attack, and it worked. We're just hours away from an all-out war, and the U.S. will emerge victorious. Alright, well that's a little crazy. Deliberately provoking nuclear war. Surely the Soviets will see through your ploy. You're so naive, Officer Ace. Doesn't matter what happens to me. Soviets won't back down. There's no stopping this war. I've heard enough, Congressman. You can tell it to the judge. You're going away for a long time. Yeah, I can hardly believe this, Ace. A U.S. congressman murdered a foreign diplomat to trigger a nuclear war, hoping to eliminate the Soviets forever. But nobody wins a nuclear war. The casualties on both sides will be catastrophic. Thanks to you, Ace, Ground Winslow has been handed over to the authorities. We can only hope that sanity will prevail and the Soviets will stand down. Because if the Soviets aren't appeased, there isn't a treason in the world that'll do us any good. It'll be Armageddon. That's so true. We gotta fix this. Because going to the future with the Soviets all pissed off is not going to be a good idea. Oh shoot! That was chapter 3. I'll see you guys in the AI. It's been Pitching 88. Over and out. Additional investigation remark set. Alright folks, Pitching 88, we are back playing Criminal Case on Facebook. We are on the additional investigation. We've got some bad news. Ace suspect having solved my grandfather's murder and handing Winslow over to the authorities. The Soviets aren't backing down. They still intend to launch a nuclear strike. But surely the Americans can appease them. They won't want to escalate the situation. On the contrary, the U.S. has threatened to retaliate, ordering a nuclear strike of their own. We're one step away from nuclear war. Crap, what do we do, Ace? How can we prevent global annihilation? It's a long shot, Ace, but I think there's a way to end this madness. The Americans and Soviets don't really want to push the button. They understand it's a no-win situation. The trouble is, neither side wants to walk away and be seen as weak. What we do is to convince each side that it was the enemy who stood down first by transmitting fake messages of peace from both countries. But we'll need help from someone inside the U.S. government. I suggest we make contact with the FBI agent Bucky Johnson. It's worth a try, Marino, but searching for Da Vinci's trees on time travel is equally important. We must find it while we still have access to the embassy. Which leads us back to Nicoletta Marconi. She didn't murder the ambassador, but she sure made things difficult for us. She never told us whether she got her hands on the trees. Let's find out what she knows. And I'll meet you at Agent Johnson's office, Ace. Yeah, maybe he's a relative of mine. I'm not aware of any of my relatives that worked in the government. Relatives that worked at NASA, but that's about it. I'm too busy right now. Also, Ace, in case you hadn't noticed, we're in the middle of a nuclear crisis. We understand the gravity of the situation, Agent Johnson. That's why we're here. We have a plan to stop this madness. If you approached me a week ago, I probably would have had you arrested, suspecting you were the cause of this, but I know you helped with the moon landing, and you saw Romanov's murder, so I trust you. We're glad to hear that, but because we're at an impasse, but I believe we can trick the Americans and the Soviets into calling off their attacks. If we transmit fake messages of peace to both sides, they should agree to stand down. Wait, you want to send fake messages to the Americans and the Soviets? I don't believe either of them will buy that. Surely you have the clearance to write a message to the U.S. President that sounds like a genuine intelligence on Soviet operations. Meanwhile, if I can get my hands on an authentic Soviet code transmitter, I can send a message to the Soviets that the Americans are backing down. It's not like you're crazy, but we're out of options. We'll try it that way. Then let's get going, Ace. An ambassador like Romanov would definitely have a code transmitter. We should probably keep in the underground bunker. Let's go check it out. Maybe they didn't tell me. I don't know of a Bucky though in my family history. But I don't even know what Bucky's short for. Well, man, see, man. We see you managed to sneak away from the ambassador's bunker, Marconi. Going somewhere? I figured it was time I made a gracious exit. Not so fast. We sent you to the embassy to find Da Vinci's trees. What happens to that? As a matter of fact, I did a little snooping around while hiding in that bunker. I managed to crack a safe open and find what you're looking for. Perfect, let's have it then. I don't have it on me. I'm not stupid enough to get caught with it. I left it in some bushes near the embassy gate. Now, I kept my end of the bargain. I gotta go see my son Antonio. He's such a little angel. Yeah, tell that to Jones. Very well, our deal is settled. We'll take those coins clinking around in your pockets. Apparently the trees wasn't the only thing you swiped from the ambassador's safe. Yes. Yeah, the angel that is Tony Marconi.
the heck's a golden cylinder? Oh, that's what that golden cylinder is. Okay. Now you give me extra points. If anything, the Buddhist is ace. If Marconi sent us a wild goose chase, all. Ooh, that locked cylinder looks outright ancient. It has the Da Vinci's Vitruvian Man engraved on it. I bet you the trees are locked inside. Let's open the cylinder and see what they got. It's probably in like Latin or some other thing that we're gonna have to get translated by Orlando or Penelope. That would be my guess. Yeah, it's. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling waking up at 12:30 in the morning. Easy Ace. Carefully extract the document, and you got it. This is Da Vinci Trees, Ruminations on Time. Additional time probability formula Kai needs to repair the time machine is contained on these pages. Can't wait to get back to 2029. First off, we'll pick up some moisturizing cream, then grabbing a pizza. Let's get this treatise to Kai on the double ace. Yes. Yes. I have good news and bad news. Ace, which would you like first? Oh, for all we know, Soviet missiles headed this way as we speak, so we need a little good news. Well, Da Vinci Trees is exactly what we need to repair the time circuits, but the pages with his formulas on time travel are missing. Gosh. What, you mean they're not there? Totally gone, but it's not the end of the world. Oops, sorry, Ace, bad timing. No scientist, but with the partial modifications I've made with using the trees, I think I can accurately target a jump to the Renaissance France. And why would we do that? Because that's where Leonardo da Vinci was when he wrote the original treatise. Since we don't have the formula here, we could get it from the man himself. Not a bad idea, Kai. The only trouble is the time machine's power source, the time crystals are almost drained. We weren't supposed to be traveling around like this for so long. Crystals need to be exposed to a powerful energy source to recharge. Plutonium, for example. Plutonium? Where are we going to find that? I think we should have the victim's bodyguard. He's a KGB agent, so he's the kind of guy who would know where to get that kind of thing. But we'll have to be shrewd, Ace. A trained Soviet agent can be a tough nut to crack. We need 1.21 gigawatts. Nah, I think she'll just went and had like personal stuff for moving and just. Bullets, ruler, brush. When I was a little girl growing up in the USSR, the Cold War is nearly over. Never imagined I'd be living through a Soviet missile crisis searching for a code transmitter in my grandfather's fallout shelter. This pieces are definitely the device that we're looking for, but it seems to be broken beyond repair. Hope we can get the machine working, Ace. The fate of the world depends on it. Alright, so we got like a little typewriter, I guess. Done it, Ace. The Soviet code transmitter is working. Now we can send a false intelligence message telling the Soviets that the US are backing down. I'll consult with Orlando and Penelope on the exact language and codes we'll need to use, as well as familiarizing myself with this machine. I need to tell you what's at stake here, Ace. If we get this wrong, we're finished. Yeah. So no pressure. I mean, I trust you because I know what's available. Like, I know that there's more cases. This was like the last case or the end. I'd be like, I don't know about this. What do you want now, Americans? My orders are to return home immediately. I leave at once. Yeah, no kidding. Bet you got your hands full with the threat of nuclear strike and rumors of your plutonium stockpiles. Plutonium. Boss already explained to the U.S. government his supplies. Samples of plutonium in an underground bunker are perfectly legal. Of course, the authorized samples are here at the embassy. We completely forgot, Officer Ace. Zavrazine has no time for your forgetfulness. I must go. The motherland summons me. And here, you get on my burger. I return to my patriarch borscht. Well, my guess is he is wanting the GTFO because if they're going to be dropping bombs, they don't want to be killing them. Nice work, Ace. You totally bamboozled Zavrazine into spilling the... Why does this happen? It happened last time right on the AI. So frustrating. Let's see if I can pick this up. Yep. Alright. No, you're not the only one lagging. That's my computer crashing. Or the game crashing. That case is a radioactive warning on it, Ace. That's promising. We should probably put on radiation suits before we go sifting through this case. I don't want to end up glowing in the dark. That is actually very smart. I wonder why we even went in here to look for things that said plutonium, and we just went in there. There we go. File of green materials marked plutonium. Ace guy can use this to recharge the time crystals. But don't drop this file. We've already got one nuclear crisis on our hands. Perfect timing, Ace. The plutonium you found worked like a charm to recharge the time crystals. I'm so relieved to have the time machine working again, at least partially. She's purring like a kitten. Ideally, it should be purring all the way to the Renaissance France, where Leonardo da Vinci himself can hopefully help us repair the time machine once and for all. But listen, Kai, if we can jump to the Renaissance, are you sure we don't have enough? We won't. Are you sure we'll have enough juice to get us back home to 2029? No can do, Ace. Without Da Vinci's formula to completely repair the time circuits, the 1960s is far forward so we can travel. We can jump anywhere in the past. And all we need now is for Amy to give us the green light, and we'll be on our way to Renaissance France. We can't go anywhere until we're sure that World War III has been averted. I'll report all this to Amy. I.e., I need to get the results from the code machine. Well, you were wise to consult us about transmitting coded messages to Soviets, Ace. Unless the correct terminology is used in precisely the right order, the Soviets won't believe the Americans have called off their nuclear strike. Exactly. My fluent Russian wouldn't be enough to convince them that the intelligence is authentic. Fortunately, Romanov's code machine stores a record of previously transmitted messages, making it easy to determine the passwords and codes the Soviets are currently using. Particularly, we found the current numerical sequence corresponding to an official ceasefire order 1701. And all this being said, we're ready to transmit messages that the Soviets will accept as authentic. There's no time to lose, Ace. Let's regroup in Agent Johnson's office so we can both transmit our messages. So sneaky. So sneaky. I've reviewed your draft message of peace to the Soviets, Officer Ace, and I'm starting to think we might pull this off. If that code of transmission is received by the Soviets, they'll have no doubt it's genuine intel that the U.S. is standing down. Meanwhile, if I send some more intelligence report to the Americans, our government should follow suit. You do realize the risk I'm taking, Officer Ace. Sending a message like this, if this doesn't work, I'll be jailed for treason. If this doesn't work, jail will be the least of your worries. Well, let's transmit our messages. Ready, set, send. Yep, all we gotta do is just wait and see how they respond. But we're not out of the woods yet, Officer Ace, but you can put a smile on your face. You did yourself proud. Oh, cool, hippie face. Check it out, Ace, your plan worked. The American Soviets have backed down. The nuclear threat is over. Oh, for real? Thank goodness. It's a brilliant psychological ruse, Ace, convincing each side of the enemy was standing down. Imagine both world leaders are relieved. They just need an excuse to call it off. Meanwhile, our plans to repair the time machine and head home didn't go as expected, which I guess we're all getting used to by now. But we've located Da Vinci's treatise, and the pages we specifically needed were missing. Surely that's not a coincidence. Agreed, they must have been torn out by the mysterious time travel who sabotaged our time machine, stranding us in the 60s. There's not much we can do about him right now. As Chief Scott always says, we'll burn that bridge when we come to it. For now, Kai's modification modified the time circuits enough to travel to Renaissance France. We can get the formula from Leonardo da Vinci himself. I gotta say, meeting Da Vinci in person sounds pretty cool, not to mention kings and queens and musketeers. Well, I've no doubt an adventure awaits us in Renaissance France. Ace, fire up the engine, and we're off in 3, 2, 1. Boom. Shakalaka. Boom. Shakalaka. Boom. Shakalaka. Boom. Shakalaka. Which means we are going to Renaissance. Nice. Yes, yes, yes. We are going to the Renaissance. Very nice. This is gonna be fun. Altered present. Okay, so it looks like after this we're probably gonna go to altered present. So something's gonna happen here, and we're actually gonna be able to get to see it. So, but really cool. Looks like next Thursday when the case is at. Thank you guys all for coming by. I'll get this case uploaded a little bit later on to YouTube. It's been Pitching ACD. Over and out. Thank you all for going on the stream. That was awesome. I'm going to go catch a little 45-minute nap before work, and I will see you guys later. It's going to be fun. I'm excited to go to Renaissance, just because I always find it fun when we can learn some new things. So I'll see you guys in chat a little bit later. Bye.